If it hurts, James breaks, we'll get you, know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. Ball, obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the game, tap, this win it in. Press you again, here for the first minute. Carry everybody, keep it there for 6 minutes.
Rocky Top! You'll always be. Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
Let me just say one more thing. The standard at Tennessee is to be elite on defense. This is the home of Reggie White, Al Wilson, Eric Berry.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
What are y'all, man? Let's keep this shit fucking rolling. Hey, you guys had this, big brother. Good shit. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama, whole state of Alabama. We don't give a damn about the whole state of Alabama. We're from Tennessee.
We got a chance to be a really good team. There's some things we got to continue to improve upon, but there's nothing better than standing in Neyland Stadium, listening to this with 102,000. Go Big Orange.
All right, congrats, Coach.
Rolling down a backwoods Tennessee byway, one arm on the wheel, holding my lover with the other, a sweet, soft southern thrill. Worked hard all week, got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night. Couldn't feel better, I'm together with my Dixieland delight. Spend my dollar, park in a holler, neath the mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight, make a little loving, a little turning oven on a Mason-Dixon night. It's my life. Oh, so right, my Dixieland delight. Whitetail buck deer munching on clover, red-tailed hawk sitting on a limb, chubby old groundhog, croaking bullfrog, free as a feeling in the wind. Homegrown country.
It would help if I unmuted myself like a true professional. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. I don't even know what day it is, to be honest with you. I have no idea what planet I'm on, what is going on, what is happening. Why is it a Monday night? And Kaner is going to be on the show, but it's also a fan call-in show. I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning last night hanging out with Coach Jay. Good times to be had, man. Good times to be had. This football team has everything still in front of them. Still in front of them. We've been so upset. We've been so frustrated. We've been so mad. Tennessee's still 6-1 with everything on the table to play for. What a heck of a win on Saturday night in Neyland Stadium. Maybe don't rush the field. Still a heck of a win, man. I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to talk to Kaner. I'm excited to get you guys on the show, see what you guys think. But let me catch up with some of you in the chat. Michael Davis, been a member for 2 years, says still loving the win. When did y'all ever think there would be a time where we would score 0 points in the first half and still beat Alabama? Matthew Watson's been a member for 2 months. Appreciate you, Matthew. Will Dyer drops a $10 super chat. says it's the door fee for the song. Thank you for that, Will. We appreciate you. Tony Canada for 2. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate that, Tony. Timothy McGee, been a member for 13 months, says less option routes, more comeback routes. Oh, okay. Timothy mixing it up this week. Wants more comeback routes. Carson drops a $2 super chat, says, what an amazing year. Wish it would slow down. I know we only get so many of them, and we spend, 75% of the games complaining and whining and crying. Let's soak them in, drink them in. Let's enjoy the ride because we're more than halfway through the season. Good old Nate Pruitt drops a 20 spot. That's an orange boy. You know what we do around here. You drive an orange boy. Well, we got to play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Good old Nate Pruitt says, cover charge, Boogie. Howdy, coach. Howdy, Vols fam. Rolling down a backwoods Tennessee byway. And then he drops another 5 and says, oh, and God bless and go Vols. Real quick, I never do this type of plugs and chills at the beginning, but we got to talk about it. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We got brand new merch, State Pride 2.0. You can see it there. It's just a clean state outline. Got the TriStar in the middle, Talkin VAWLS Network underneath. But then good old Nate Pruitt and his catchphrase, it is finally on a t-shirt. God bless and go Vols. Also a little Talkin VAWLS Network on there for you. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. I don't usually do plugs this early, but I wanted to get it out of the way because Nate is the man. But let's get Kaner on here on a Monday morning, Sunday night, Monday night, whatever it is. Let's do it.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Did you have to really shake your head at me in disappointment in the back room because I muted myself?
I don't know if you noticed. I was shaking my head a lot back there. I was hoping you saw that. I shook my head at you. First of all, I started the show like the true unprofessional you are with the mic muted. All right. And then you said, I don't know what day it is. I was like, well, some of us have been working here, Boogie. All right. So, I mean, come on. It sounds like you've been partying too much. Your voice is not as strong as it usually is. So I had a lot of shaking my head moments. All right.
Wait a minute. I mean, you were probably working last night around 2 a.m. This is what I was doing last night around 2 a.m. I don't know why the camera's blurry. I don't know why you can't see it. I don't know why Coach Jay has that look in his eye. But that's what we were doing last night at 2 o'clock in the morning. Man, it was cool, man. Getting, you with your job, what you do, you meet people, you connect with people all over the country. And just the power of the internet, the power of YouTube. Me and Coach Jay connected. So many people on this channel have connected. And he came out for the game. He drove up here came up yesterday, hung out. Just crazy. The connection of Tennessee football, what it does. How it brings
what it's all about, man. I was going to ask, is he still here or is he heading back?
They came into Knoxville Wednesday. They drove up this way yesterday, and they flew out of Knoxville around 5 o'clock. So he's either in the air or they are in Chicago on a layover. So just cool, man. He tries to come out once a year for a game. He's never seen a loss in Neyland Stadium. That's the lucky charm. Somebody get that guy some season tickets.
But let's get into miles back and forth. Come on now.
Well, his son works for the airport, so he even gets or for one of the air companies. So it's like he's just living the dream, flying all over the place. Let's start a little differently. It's what is it again? Monday night. It's a Monday night. Let's start, man, with a little Josh Heupel praise. Like, I loved this tweet when I saw Chris Lowe put it out. And talking about Josh Heupel being 4-2 versus Alabama and Florida in the past 3 years. I always love that, right? You could go 4 years, but then the numbers wouldn't be as impressive. You can make anything happen with numbers and statistics. Yeah. Still impressive, man. 16 years prior to that, 2-30. Like, I know I'm joking and having fun with it, but, man, we are miserable 75% of the time. And it's like, look, it's time to appreciate what Josh Heupel's done.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, you said it before I got on. It's like, as bad as it seems sometimes, we get so frustrated with the offense. We're hooping and hollering, and it's this season flies by. I mean, we're 7 games in. About 5 games left in the regular season, and I know Tennessee's got college football playoff aspirations, and I know Tennessee will play in a bowl game at minimum. But you got 5 games left in the regular season. It feels like it just started, and we spend all you and I. I mean, this is where we make our money, right? I mean, this is it. This is why we do what we do year round. And as a fan, a Tennessee football fan, I mean, this is it. This is that time, and it just goes by in the blink of an eye. And oh, lo and behold, you're 6-1. You are 6-1. You are a pretty daggone good football team. You're right in the heart of the college football playoff conversation. things are good right now. Yes, I understand things need to be better on offense. We're going to get to that, I'm sure. The Arkansas loss stings. Of course, it definitely stings. But you wanted to enter the second bye week with one or fewer losses. Check, right? I mean, you're right there. So a lot of things, job's not done, but you're sitting in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, it's like, no matter how you spin it, going into it, if you told me Tennessee was going to be 6-1 at this point in the season, I'd be like, sign me up for that. And you kind of just assume maybe they slipped up against Oklahoma or they lost to Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it all last week. That game against Alabama was an elimination game. It's college football playoff or bust. It's win or go home. And Tennessee won. They survived. They advanced. Now you're going into a bye week. And I got to be careful here. I got to be careful. Give a good 63 effort. We talk about Arkansas. I can't be like, well, you got Kentucky and Mississippi State, and then the big games, Georgia. You still got to take care of business. But I like Kentucky at home, night game coming off the bye week. I just think that sets up perfectly for Josh Heupel. Again, it's the SEC. Every single week is complete insanity. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat. Foul Ming for 5 says Dorothy rolling the backwoods. Welcome to the Mud Caner. You've been on a night show before, hadn't you? The night show around here hits a little different.
The first couple of shows I ever joined you for was Wednesday nights, I think. Then we kind of hit our groove Monday morning and Friday mornings. But yeah, I joined a couple of Wednesday night shows back in the day.
Late night Talkin VAWLS is where it's at. Ron the Don for 5 says Big Daddy Caner on the live call-in show. Woot woot, let's go. We're gonna do about 30 minutes with Caner like we normally do. Then we're gonna open it up. Going to do our fan call-in show, all of it. Lumped in here together tonight. Brad Burnett drops a 20 spot. That is an Orange Boy. We appreciate you, Brad. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Brad says, GBO, welcome, Eric. Boogie, tell all these negavols it's better to be thought a fool than to post a comment and remove all doubt. Where is it? I'm assuming this is Facebook. I'm guessing it's Facebook. Our Facebook group is a nightmare. It's just like Twitter. It's just like social media. It's like the GQ during a game. It is exactly like the GQ. But shout out, Brad. We appreciate the super chat, my friend. Let's jump into the Alabama game. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's start with the positive. Let's start with this, Tennessee defense, man. Just find a way to win. How many times do you hear coaches say, man, we got to learn how to win? We heard it a lot under Jeremy Pruitt. We got to learn how to win. How much stock do you put in that? This team, they just know how to win. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I think they're winners. I do. And if I could, go back, scatterbrain, I never really got back to my original point, which you brought up, and Josh Heupel 4-2 against these teams the last 3 or 4 years. Just incredible because again, we 15 straight losses to, Alabama in this series and, coming up short against Florida and only beating Florida in 22 and 2016. And, prior to that, it was 0-4. I mean, times are good right now. Again, job's not done, but times are good for sure. And I think this is a group it just knows how to win. I mean, grown men on the defensive line, we always talk about it, allowing these young linebackers now. There's a bunch of young LBs running around right now with Keenan Peele out, and they're going to making plays. I think Tennessee's corners are good. I think Tennessee's safeties. I know everybody jokes with you, man. I even sent a text your way as well. I like Jacoby Thomas a lot. I think Andre Turrentine had a really nice bounce back game. I think Christian Charles is helping this team out a lot. There's nobody back there playing better than Will Brooks. And what a story. And that's awesome. And then on offense, I mean, gosh, second week in a row, man, you got guys running behind the secondary. You got Dylan Sampson do what he's doing. I mean, it's close offensively. Tennessee should have scored 40+ the other night. But you didn't. You found a way to win against a top 10 team. We can say, well, this isn't Nick Saban's Alabama. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. You beat a top 10 team, a team with the number 7, by its name. You beat them at home like you're supposed to. And, good football teams find ways to win when one phase of your team is not bringing their weight. I mean, offense certainly in the first half wasn't bringing the weight, but the defense kept them in the game. And finally, that offense got going in the second half. Tip of the cap to Jackson Ross. Nice punts there in the second half as well. Tennessee on sudden change. I love this stat from the other night. I wrote about it. Tennessee on sudden change 4 times, 0 points. I mean, or 4 times, 1 touchdown because I call sudden change a missed field goal as well. One time they marched down and scored a field goal. But point is, over 30 plays, 100 yards, 7 points, all games in sudden change. I mean, that is winning football. That's complimentary football. And Tennessee had it the other night, and Tennessee won the game.
I saw your text. I think I saw it after we got back from dinner last night, and I just turned my phone to Coach Jay, and I was like, dude, when your friends are texting you to remind you how great Will Brooks is, Man, everybody. But look, you don't think I jumped up and sell it? Like, what a story, right? Alabama kid makes a play at the end of the game, and it's just, man, it's awesome. But the beautiful thing is, and listening to AP interview Jacoby Thomas, holy smoke, that is not the kid. I thought he was going to be like this. I don't know. I thought he was going to be like this thug, this dog, this like just, and he's like the nicest, kindest. And I'm like, this is not what I expected. But they were talking about rotating the safeties, and he was saying how, it helps keep us fresh, and that's, they didn't do that previously, and now you're seeing that. And by the way, I like Will Brooks. Shout out Will Brooks. There ain't no way on that third down, was it late in the first quarter, where Jacoby Thomas just shoots into the backfield on that quarterback sweep? No way Will Brooks is making that play. No way he's making that play. None.
Could
Zero.
anybody have that shoestring tackle? Maybe but hey, that shoestring tackle is huge now. Hey,
I love what you said about it. What, like you compared it to the Dylan Sampson fumble, the Nico fumble last week. What's the game look like if Will Brooks does not make that play? I mean, who knows? The heck of a play, man.
Beautiful play.
That is maybe
Jacoby Thomas, like, that is his niche, right? It's like coming in close, on a blitz or in man coverage, and he's stepping down in tight quarters, and he sees action, and he runs the alley, and he makes the play in the backfield. I mean, how many times has he done that this year? Like 3 or 4 times. Just a great football play. Jermon McCoy, Bill Martin tweeted it out the other day. I mean, the third time in the last 4 games Tennessee has a goal line takeaway. Happened at Oklahoma, happened against Florida, happened against Alabama. Why are they throwing it to Jermon McCoy 11 times? I don't know. I don't know. He is so good. And Ricky Gibson is getting better and better and better every single day, man. It's pretty phenomenal the way they're playing defense right now, but it's fun to watch. I know it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating on the offensive end. Somebody asked the question earlier, like, who would have ever thought that Tennessee would have been shut out in the first half of 3 straight games? I would have bet the new house I'm in right now, that would never happen, and I would have lost it, all right, before I even spent a month in it.
That's what I've heard. Can't hide money.
Simply can't, man. You and your Jeep and your pool and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible, dude. But you find a way. And Nico missed wide open guys, and that was frustrating. Wide receivers dropped passes, and that was so frustrating. But Nico grew up in the second half. Grew up. 2 dimes. Sprint out, 55-yarder down the sideline to Dante Thornton. Gorgeous. The touch pass, 16 yards to... they schemed it up too, man. That slot fade, they switched Nimrod and Brazel right there, got the matchup they wanted, and that ball was perfectly placed. He's got to stop making those mistakes. That interception was abysmal, but he grew up in the second half, and I thought that was good to see. The hope is you take that and you ride that momentum, right? You start faster next time.
What a wild turn of events for him to go down, get banged up, and I thought that kind of felt like a turning point. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, or if the throw to Thornton just gave him his confidence back. He just seemed like he was that throw. There was a throw where he was rolling left and turned his body, threw back across his body to Brew McCoy, and it was just pinpoint accuracy. He's better running, man. He's better on the move, throwing the football, but it seemed like he found his confidence. And we're going to come back and talk about the offense, but I felt like they took a step last week against Florida. It felt like they took another step this week against Alabama. Can you continue to do that throughout the bye week? Kentucky game, the Mississippi State game, can this offense really continue to get better and make their way to the playoffs and like college baseball or college basketball, get hot at the right time and do some damage when we get to the playoffs? But let me catch up with you guys in the chat. Billy Todd for 2 says, Dorothy, welcome, Eric. We appreciate you, Billy. Dan Yoder for 5 says, Dorothy, good to see everybody. Just win, baby. Vols Girl says, hey, Eric, welcome. Go Vols. Can't stay all night because I have a rehearsal. Jenny, I bet that's a date. If I know you, I bet you and Big Orange Mountain are going on a date. She says, I just want to agree with you, Boogie. We need to start expecting to win and not rush the field. GBO. I just, and look, Coach Jay was on the field too, and I'm like making fun of him for it. But I said if they went, I'd go right behind them too. But act like, I think you said it. Act like you've been there before.
Well, my whole thing on this, like, I'm not going to criticize anybody that stormed the field the other night. I mean, that was the second time you beat Alabama since what was 05, whatever that year was, 15 straight, and of course 22. It was. I'm not going to criticize anybody that did that. I would say, you're the number 11 team in the country. You just had this 2 years ago. Like, you're a good football team. So if that was the last field storming, hey, that's fine. I think it should be the last one. But if you're on that field, I'm not going to criticize you. Go be a fan, because that hadn't happened many times.
And I'm like, I would do whatever you want to do. I don't care. But I also heard, I don't remember what, maybe I saw it on the GQ. Somebody said the recruits were the first ones on the field. And if that's the case, What are you going to do? Like,
it was kind of slow motion, dude. So I was in the press box, and like you have that whole recruiting section. By the way, Tennessee just picked up a commit here. 2026 defensive lineman Tyson Bacon. So there you go. Really, really nice player. He was on campus this past week. That's 226 commits in the days since the game. So that's the type of atmosphere impact you're talking about. But you had that big recruiting section. They kind of spilled over, and they ran on the field. And then you had the student section on the other side, and a couple of those guys started trickling down, and like it was kind of slow. 2022, I was down there. It was everybody sprinting out. Like this is kind of slow motion. Then before you know it, it's a sea of orange, and then before you know it, you see the goalpost count. It's like, okay, here we go.
Off to the races. All it takes is one, right? And monkey see, monkey do. That one person took that step, and we're going right behind them. GBO Smokey for 10 says, Dorothy, we appreciate you, GBO Smokey. Matthew Watson for 2 says, pumping in fake crowd noise boogie. Buck Fama, that's comical. Sean Cross for 5 says, Kaner, love your coverage on both services. Sean's the man. Appreciate you, Sean. Fido Productions for 5 says, thoughts on the conspiracy that Coach Josh Heupel cutting back in the Oklahoma game, sparing them, took the dog out of the offense, setting them back, killing momentum. Tinfoil hat conspiracy theory is what I would say to that. Tony Canada for 2. Will Brooks for MVP. I've heard he's going to be the Heisman. Man, y'all just see what you started. GBO Smokey for 10. Will Brooks for president. We're moving on up. Austin Stubblefield's been a member for 12 months, says scoreless in the first half and still beat Bama. I'm just going to keep saying what I texted you back. Yeah, Will Brooks played great. Guess what? I still think Jacoby Thomas is a better football player. Sorry.
Well, I mean, the ceiling's higher. The ceiling's higher, no doubt, for all those guys that are playing. I'll say this. I thought about this earlier, and I don't think I've said this in a pod or anything. Like I've been impressed with Will Brooks' closing speed the last couple of weeks. Like the guy will catch it, and then Brooks is right there, and like you're making the tackle, and you're getting nothing. The yards after catch for Alabama. I mean, Ryan Williams, one of the best yak guys in the country, he had 7 yards after catch on Saturday. I thought that was good. I thought the yards after catch was a pretty good stat. And I've been really impressed with Will Brooks' closing speed. Like, sure, he might not be the fastest, and he might not be able to keep up with guys in man coverage over the middle and all that, but when they're catching it in front of the sticks, he is zooming over there, making the play in a hurry. So he's playing really well. Happy for him. But to your point, you said it earlier, and I'll say this. I was talking with a buddy yesterday, and it's like, Jalen McCullough is making all these plays in the NFL, and Tennessee fans hated him, and Willie Martinez and Tim Meggs couldn't coach. I think a big part of that, honestly, is he was playing 90 snaps a game. And so I haven't paid close attention to the Rams this year, but I would imagine Jalen McCullough is probably not getting over 20 to 30 snaps on defense a game, right? So he is more fresh. He is more in tune. He is a bit available to go make those impact plays, and you're playing 4 guys back there, and I think that's helping. I think that's really, really helping, and I'm so happy they're doing that because they spent the first 3 years not doing that.
Yeah, I mean it's and the interception too. Will Brooks made a play, right? Mm-hmm. And again, the pick earlier in the year that he had, the big 6. I'm like, you don't think I'm fist pumping celebrating? And I don't know if one of the comments in the chat saying, "Wow," I don't know if that was about the stat or if that's about me. It's a joke. I love me some Will Brooks. I didn't know if he would be the guy to get it done. How good is this secondary, right? Everybody was questioning the secondary, and we heard it. We heard more athletic, more speed, all this stuff. Jermod McCoy, Ricky Gibson, these corners, man. Boo Carter, how good is Boo Carter? Like, I saw him just a handful of months ago playing high school football, and this dude's playing in the SEC and looks like he's been there, done that. Like, just this secondary can be good, and they're young. That's what's exciting too. They got some young dudes.
Yeah, I think look at your corners, both sophomores. Yeah. I mean, how about that, right? Like, and I think the corners are good. I think the corners set the tone, right? And even Jalen McMurray, who they played a little bit earlier in the year, just like Jalen Smith. You played Jalen Smith against NC State that way against Florida and against, against Alabama. He's not lost. It's not too bright for him. And same with Jalen McMurray. But I think it starts with the corners, and then I think the safeties have just done their job. They've missed too many tackles this year. They didn't the other night, which is good, but they missed too many tackles this year. And then Boo, man, I think that they have played Boo right. Like Christian Harrison, it was 50-50 the first 3 or 4 weeks. And then, Boo went out the Oklahoma game, and Harrison played the entire game almost. And then it was kind of flipped. Harrison had a nagging injury, and it was more Boo. And now here the last 2 weeks, they've switched from when opposing offenses are going to 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. Tennessee runs a 4-3 out there. They have Caleb Perry out there, and Boo comes off. And then when they go back to base, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 11, Boo goes back out there, Caleb Perry comes out, and you're out there in 4-3 more than you know it. So the way they've kind of slow played Boo in there, I mean, he's the clear-cut starter right now, and he's playing really well. He's aggressive. He's still learning, but I think it's been a really good coaching job across the board defensively this year, and you're able to do that. I feel like you haven't been able to do that in years past because we don't have enough depth, and we're trying to keep pace, right? Offense has to score, just trying to get a turnover, trying to blitz. It's not the case anymore, and you're seeing how good this defense can be here in year 4. It's kind of reaching its potential, and hopefully it can continue that way.
Yeah, I mean, hearing you talk about the way they're using Boo Carter, but then you're talking about the 4-3 and all the different things, and I think they're playing aggressive, man. Like late in that game, the game's on the line, and it's like, okay, they're going to drop everybody. 3rd and long, 4th and long. It's like they're bringing pressure, man, because they trust those corners, and the fact, like, look, everybody's on the Tim Banks train now. There's nobody out here saying fire Tim Banks like they were the previous years. You're seeing what Tim Banks can truly do when he's got the talent and the depth to do it, right? And it's I love Tim Banks. We said it a million times, you and I, back and forth on your show, my show. He's going to be a head coach sooner rather than later. It's going to be tough to hang on to him. I don't know if we've ever had this conversation, but it's probably a pretty simple answer. Was Coach Inge, was that Coach Heupel playing chess and everybody else playing checkers? He knows Tim Banks probably going to end up a head coach, and he's like, all right, let me go ahead and get my next guy here and adjusted and adapted, and then it'll be easy to make that transition.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. I mean, obviously, you did not want to lose Brian John Marie, and that was kind of late in the cycle, obviously, or kind of, I mean, that was obviously one of the last coaching staffs that was affected Michigan. And, they made a run of Brian John Marie, and I think he wanted to stay here, and negotiations went back and forth, and he ultimately went to Michigan, and that was best for him and his family. And so you wanted to keep him, but potentially so, knowing that Banks isn't going to be here for long, and Tennessee fans better love it because this offseason they're going to be coming for Tim Banks, that is for sure. And trying to have a plan in place for a guy that's called some defenses before. He's never really coached in this area of the country before, so I think that's why it's this season's big for him. So I'm intrigued to see if he would be the in-house candidate. I do believe, even though Willie Martinez is easy to Tennessee fans. I know I don't hear that. Willie Martinez has been a DC in this league before, but I do think Inge would be the internal candidate. So
you just swung the chat. They've been talking about Will Brooks for the last 10 minutes and yelling at me. You just swung the chat. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Kane, VolQuest.com, Locked On Vols, said Willie Martinez should be the next defensive coordinator at the University of Tennessee. I'm
saying he's done it before, not saying that's going to happen. But
they're gonna come for you now. Timothy McGee for 5 says, I heard 2 conspiracies today. 1, we pop in crowd noise. 2, Oklahoma is going after Heupel at the end of the year. No, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up the phone and call. I don't see Josh Heupel going I think Josh Heupel loves it here.
I do too. I mean, Oklahoma's home. I mean, Tennessee's home for him now, right? I mean, look what he's built here. Like, why on earth would you ever want to leave? He's making $9 million a year. I understand Oklahoma holds a significant place in his heart, but I mean, crap, so does Tennessee, right? And I'll say this: Oklahoma kind of saved some face a little bit there. I mean, fired its OC yesterday, and they're trying to do what they do to keep that coaching staff, the rest of the coaching staff intact. I think they mismanaged the entire quarterback situation. I cannot believe they turned their back on Jackson Arnold that early. I mean, that was in the Tennessee game. I cannot believe that happened. I think Hawkins is fine, but I mean, like, what are you doing, man? Arnold's got so much potential. Now they're flip-flopping him, and they get drilled the other weekend. I mean, it's a mess over there, but I'm sure if there's ever a change at Oklahoma, they will call Josh Heupel, because why wouldn't you? But it's not full, I mean, Josh Heupel, he's got something going pretty good here, and I don't think that he wants to turn his back on this for sure.
Angry Titan drops a $2 super chat, says just got the new State Pride 2.0 in dark. Dude, that dark gray Angry Titan looks clean. It looks clean. That's probably the one I'm going to pick up. Appreciate you, my friend. Joseph Harris for 20. That's an Orange Boy. We'll do it.
Rocky Top!
Joseph says,
sorry to cut you. I just noticed Peyton's is something like this.
Yeah. That clip it's never going to die. I love it. I love Pat McAfee. Don't get me derailed, Keener. I'll talk about Pat McAfee.
Get your super chat here. Go.
Dude, he's so good on game day. Joseph Harris for 20 says, just love that our team keeps improving. I hope our offense can score more than 30 points against Kentucky in 2 weeks. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Shout out, Joseph. We appreciate it. Let's talk briefly. I know we're up against it here. Let's talk briefly about this offense. Like I said, clearly scoreless in the first half again. I love that Josh Heupel's like, y'all really going to ask me this again post game? And then it's like every press conference it comes up. I was watching the Josh Heupel show, and Bob Kessling looks at him and goes, well, coach, another week without scoring in the first half. And he looks at him and goes, I really wish you would stop saying that to me. And it's like,
you know how you can
everybody
fix that,
talking about
Coach?
it.
You know how you can fix that? Score a touchdown in the first half.
I bet they'll stop talking about it.
There was late in the second half or second quarter, Boogie. It was that 53-yarder from Max Gilbert. I believe. Don't quote me. I know he missed 2, but I believe the 53-yard miss was 4th and 2. How many times has Josh Heupel said, "Hey, I'm gonna kick a long field goal instead of go 4th and 2 in 4-down territory"? At that point in the game, I think he was so hungry to get points, and I can't blame him. I cannot blame him. Right? So hungry to get points that you were almost out of character a little bit, because that is a full-blown go for it on 4th down. But I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I do think it's a little bit of everything. I think it's you're wearing down the defense. I think it's a better execution, halftime adjustments. But I still can't sit here like back-to-back weeks, Tennessee's first possession, they move down the field and you turn the football over. Like, finish the drive. Finish the drive, man. It's frustrating. That offense has got – I thought one of the keys going into Alabama was you have got to start early. Not you don't have to start off scorching hot, but you got to start off well offensively, because you need the crowd the entire game. And I'm not sure the way you're playing offensively, you're good enough to erase a 2-touchdown deficit. It never got the 2 touchdowns, which was good. But Tennessee still was down 3 times in that football game, and they found a way. Nico's got to hit open receivers. He's got to. 2 weeks in a row, scheme's not broken, guys. Scheme's not broken. 2 weeks in a row, they've had guys running wide open. Nico's got to hit those guys. Nico's got to stop making first-year redshirt freshman quarterback mistakes, like getting out of the pocket, getting hit, and just throwing it up and throwing in the triple coverage. That can't happen. I'll say this, man. I was really critical of the wide receivers after this game, too, because Nico wasn't hitting them, and then when he was throwing good balls, man, I mean, you got guys not catching it. I mean, 4 drops. Brew McCoy had 2 drops, dropped the touchdown. I thought Brew had a really good game. It was a game plan, get the ball to Brew on the slant. I thought they executed that well, but he had a couple of drops. We know about Squirrel. He's playing injured right now. Perazzle had a drop. It's like, man, when Nico's not hitting you, you're not helping Nico out. The whole thing's out of sync. But again, like I said earlier, second half, run game gets going. Nico uses his legs to kind of loosen him up a little bit. He makes some big boy throws. He still had a couple overthrows in the second half, but he made some big boy throws. I just love the fact that you can leave what happened in the past, next play mentality, and go win a football game. And that's what he did, man. I thought he grew up. He's got to be better. I thought he grew up.
And get your confidence back. Like, confidence is it's a real thing. Like, you talk about Heupel just trying to get dang points on the board. And sometimes, man, we kind of compared it to golf this week. It's like when you're struggling, man, you start your grip gets a little bit tighter, you're aiming, or like pitching, man. Like when I was pitching growing up, it's like when you got your stuff, nobody can touch it. But when it's not there and you start forcing, you try to start aiming, it's like
start placing instead of pitching, you're placing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, just go out there and do what you do. Just go out there and throw the baseball across plate. It's a pretty easy thing to do. But man, when you're struggling and you're pressing and you're trying so hard to make a play. One last thing, and then I'm going to get you out the door. Let me hit this real quick. Robert's in the house. What is up, my friend? Robert took care of Coach Jay at the Hoskins tailgate on Saturday, man. Good dude. Coach Jay had all the nice things to say. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Robert says, who my faves? Locked on. Talkin VAWLS. Nico, the interception. Going back and watching it. Obviously gets drilled in the arm. Hindsight's 2020. Run out of bounds. Throw it away. Do something. Do you think, and I'm not trying to make excuses for him, if he was throwing it, it was another horrible decision because it was double coverage. Nobody was open. Do you think he was trying to throw that ball out of the back of the end zone, and because he got hit, he couldn't put it? I watched it over and over and over, and I'm like, and I still don't know. Either way, you can't make that mistake. You can't. It's first down, and you're in the red zone. You cannot make that mistake. Just interesting. I thought maybe he may have been trying to throw it away.
Yeah, you said it. You'll never know. We'll never know. But I mean, if he was trying to throw it away, buddy, turn your shoulders and just go.
Throw it this way. Yeah, throw it this way.
Again, jokes write themselves. I like Nico. I believe in Nico. I think he's going to be so good, and I think he's getting better. But jokes write themselves. You run out of bounds to end the Arkansas game. Hey, buddy, take a step to your left. Just go out of bounds. Throw it away. Don't do that. So maybe at the last second, he's like, let me just get this ball out of here. But You had, and the protection was great on that play. He had all day. And then finally, he's flushed out of the pocket. I mean, he had all day. You just can't make that. So whether he was trying to throw it away, whether he was trying to hit Brew in the back of the end zone, can't do that, man. Can't do that. Another turnover. That was in the red zone. It was a really bad play, and it was very discouraging because, of course, he got hurt, came back in, they moved the football down the field, and then again, it was a second turnover in the red zone. So I don't know. Hopefully those type of mistakes don't happen again. I mean, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to throw interceptions. That's football. But it's like those mistakes. It's like, okay, well, we need to move past this now. Like, this has happened a couple of times already. It's like throw picks, but don't throw them making those silly mistakes. And that's just kind of the hope. But again, I'll continue to say this. Like, you know me. Like, I'm going to be critical of you, but I'm also going to give props. I thought he grew up. Thought he played well in the second half. Offensive line, there were 3 sacks. I mean, it was far from perfect, but in real time, I turned to AP and I'm like, I can't wait to do this rewatch tomorrow because nobody's standing out to me on the offensive line, and that's really good. And
if you're after the game going, I felt like the offensive, because that's what I was saying. I was like, I feel like the offensive line played pretty good. If you're not catching it live, then they probably played pretty good.
Yeah, and the rewatch, I thought they played pretty well. I did. So you said it earlier, man, just finding ways to win. And you're 7 games into the season. You are who you are. Right now, Tennessee is a really good defensive team. Tennessee has got so much talent offensively. It just hasn't clicked yet in meaningful games. It hasn't clicked yet in conference play. Doesn't mean it won't. I think it will, and I don't think they're far off. Having guys run behind the secondary is always a good sign. So, good spot. Bye week comes at I'm just rambling here. Bye week comes at a perfect time. Rest, reset, work on some things, and then get after it. Kentucky, Mississippi State, Georgia, UTEP, and Vandy should be a fun 5-game stretch on to hopefully the college football playoffs.
Kaner, it's always a good time. We little bit of crossover, but different audience a lot of times on our evening shows here on Talkin Balls. So if this is your first time ever seeing Kaner on the show, Locked On Vols, VolQuest.com, go sub him up. If you're not subscribed, we got almost 500 people watching live tonight. If you're not subscribed to Locked On Vols, go check it out. Kaner drops a video every single day of the week during the weekday. He also does some post-game type stuff. So go check him out, sub him up, get that sub count up. What do you got going on over at Locked On Vols this week, and also VolQuest.com?
Yeah, still looking back at that win over Alabama because it was that sweet. It was that sweet of a win over Alabama, and kind of taking a pulse check. Like, where's Tennessee in the SEC here at the second bye week? National stats. Where's Dylan Sampson ranking? All that and more. And, how can we get Nico from where he is right now to how good he can be? Some thoughts, some analysis on that. All that and more here the rest of this week, and of course the bye week, getting ready for the backstretch of the season. All that and more. It's Locked On Vols, and always over at VolQuest.com. Tons of recruiting stuff happening right now, happening tonight.
While we're live
over at VolQuest.com.
Yeah, see, I can't. What am I going to do? Am I going to kick you off the show? See, you're just looking at AP. You're looking at AP, and AP just going to work. Got it ready. Probably had the video queued up, ready to go. Knew it was coming.
It was supposed to happen this morning, so we kind of been waiting on it all day. For those of you guys that, I don't know if you were about to do this, Boogie, but Tyson Bacon, class of 2026, defensive lineman, 6'4", about 240. On 3 has him as a 3-star, but of course in 26, you're not very, they'll redo the rankings so many different times. So it's really early in the cycle, but a guy that Tennessee really, really liked, picked the Volunteers over a couple of SEC teams, including Ole Miss. Tyson Bacon. I wish he played offensive line because he has a great name for an offensive lineman. Tyson Chicken Bacon, of course, but he plays defensive line. A really, really good player, and that's the second commit in as many days since the Alabama game, joining Brandon Anderson, who was an offensive line interior priority, who was on campus last 2 weekends, I believe. And so Faison Brandon, Carson Sneed, I think there's one other one, and then 2 more. So that 26 class starting to kind of grow a little bit.
Yeah, they added the offensive lineman, Brandon
Anderson.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
There it is. There's the profile on the screen. Look, 3-star you. If Rodney Garner wants him, I'll take him. That's all I'll say about it. All right, Kaner, it's always a good time. I will be over on Locked On Vols on Friday mornings, so make sure you tune in for that. It's always a good time, brother. We will catch up soon.
Hey, thanks, guys. See you.
All right, we're going to open it up for the fan call-in show here in just a second. Like I said, we got almost 500 people watching live on this, I want to say Sunday night. I think it's Sunday night, but it's Monday night. I have no idea what day of the week it is right now. No clue. No idea. But you can also go to bonfire.com/store/talkinballs. Check out the brand new merch. And I love this gray shirt. Angry Titan made a great decision. This gray looks good. But look, you can click on any design. You want the t-shirt? All right, I can go in here and I can get heather gray, I can get black, I can get midnight navy, which I will tell you that color also looks clean with the orange on it. You got white, whatever you want to do, and then you can pick what shirt you want to. If you're like Coach Jay out in Cali and it's still like 90 degrees and you rock the tank top, whatever you want, hoodies, everything is there. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. And we also dropped these, another brand new design today. As most of you guys know, Nate, he was on the post-game show this week and last week. He's on the fan call-in show all the time. Nate always signs off a super chat with God bless and go Vols. And I was like, man, we need to put that on a t-shirt. So now it's on a t-shirt or a tank top or a hoodie, whatever you want. It is there. Go check it out. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Smash the thumbs up. Let's get into it. Coach Rice, what's going on, my brother? Let's bring Bleed Orange in here as well. I should have hit this first, but make y'all come on and just listen to me read super chats. Timothy McGee for 5 says he's got the throw to the check down. I saw 3 guys open that were short gains. Oh, he's got that Kentucky's Daddy shirt on. I like it.
Love it.
GBO Smokey for 10. When Nico made that pass to Dante, I knew we would win the game. Man, it felt like he got his confidence back on that throw. Foul Mink for 2. One of us. Hashtag Caner. Tyler Maxwell for 5. I met Coach J and Mrs. Coach J. I knew we were going to win after that. I'm the Tennessee Leprechaun. What a time to be a VFL. Now we got to win out GBO. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate the super chat. Sean Cross drops another 20 spot. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Sean says 2 points. I would love for Boogie to be the voice of the balls after Bob. He would do a wonderful job. Your ass is grass tomorrow night. BYU versus Boise. As long as they're even team, Sean, you out there trying to take advantage of me, make me play on the road, you cheat. I'll see you tomorrow night. I got revenge on my mind.
You got revenge on your mind.
On my mind. I'm ready to go. We appreciate you, Sean. I'm looking forward to it. We'll have a good time tomorrow night. Man, it was awesome. Real quick, and then we'll get into it. Just having Coach Jay out here, man. Getting to hang out. They came in. We rewatched the game, and by rewatched the game, it was on while we sat there and shot the bull and talked the whole time. Went out to dinner, came back. Man, we just went out. We got like a sunroom out by the pool. We just went out there, turned like the, I don't know if they're garden lights, something, whatever my wife put in there, and we just hung out, man. We didn't watch TV. We turned on some tunes, and just got to hang out, spend some time together. Football is family. I know we all say that. You all got emotional at the end of the post-game show. So it was cool, man, to have Coach J, Mrs. Coach J come in town, spend some time together. But let's get into it. Bleed Orange, kick us off here. What are your thoughts? How you feeling on this, whatever day it is?
On this Sunday, Monday, I'm feeling great, man. Everybody keeps saying, all the mistakes that were made, and that's great and all, but when you really slice the pie, if we didn't have those mistakes, we might not have had the same outcome. So I think when Nico got hurt and he went out, his mind just he flipped on a switch. He knew that there were some overthrown balls, and he righted the ship, and I think he was clutch.
I agree. I mean, I think Josh Pate. Oh, go ahead, Bleed. I thought you were.
No, you go ahead. Jump in there.
Well, I agree. I think Josh Pate, kind of mentioned on his video, he thinks Tennessee could have been up, 27 or 31 to 14 at halftime if we make some plays and execute. Because, like we said in the postgame show, the plays were there in the first half. The plays were there last week against Florida. We just finally started executing against Alabama in the second half, and you can't say that Heupel isn't drawing up plays to get guys open, because we've seen it. We just haven't executed properly, whether it be an overthrow by Nico or a drop ball by the wide receivers, or the offensive line not giving them and tight ends and running backs not giving them proper amount of time to get the throw off. I'm right on with you. I think this. I think we got good, stuff going forward with the team and the scheme with Coach Heupel. I think Nico, with what you said, Boogie, I know me and you've chatted back and forth about it. That throw is a lot like a fire got lit under him, and I think he's really about to take off, because it's like all the pressure. I was talking with guys about it today at work. All the pressure that he had on him, the expectations coming into the season. We saw it against, the early opponents, the Kent States, the Chattanoogas. SEC competition. It's another level. We say it, it just means more. Well, they saw what he could do against elite competition, the Alabamas, and I think you're really going to see it moving forward because he knows now he can get it done.
Like Bleed Orange, how has your just opinion of this team changed the last few weeks? Right, Oklahoma, we see them shut it down. We're kind of the way I'm selling it is, Josh Heupel pumped the brakes, right? He went conservative because he had the lead. He was trying to protect the lead, and he did, and he won the game. And then Arkansas, it's like the same song and dance. We're not seeing what this offense could do. We start talking about, I want changes. We see some changes against Florida. You get encouraged, and then you see some more progress against Alabama. Like what's the roller coaster been for you with this offense, and where do you think they can go moving forward?
The sky's the limit, Boogie. The sky's the limit. At first, I ain't gonna lie, I was ticked off. I was like, why would you slow down and this and that, the field and, but I think he knows what he has on defense and he knows he can now rely on that. And we've not seen that under Josh Heupel. We're used to have to go out and score 40, 50 points, but he don't have to do that now. And I think all along it was nothing to do with a trust thing. I think that all the weight on Nico's shoulders, all of the offseason and the recruitment and everything was starting to get to him a little bit. Yeah. And he had to try and go out and make that a reality for all the fans that said this is what Nico is. And those 3 games in the beginning of the season, all that hype, I'm not saying that went to his head because I don't think it did, but he's like, I've got to go out and perform to perfection. And that would weigh on anybody. Yeah. Any normal job, if you have all that, and I watched it here at home. When my son switched schools, they were like, oh, he's a D1 quarterback, and he goes out and the line didn't block. He threw an interception, and it was like, well, it's just like everybody saying they want receipts on Nico. You know what I'm saying? Well, half those folks that say that didn't even put any money towards it, so they can just take that on somewhere. But at the end of the day, I think there was a lot of weight on that boy's shoulders, and and everybody says that he's young, but I think something clicked in his head during the middle of that game or at halftime and the second half of that game. I think now it's off to the races. I think, is he still going to make mistakes? Probably so. But guess what? It was extremely awesome to hear people chanting his name during that game and having his back, unlike they did with Joe. You know what I mean? And and there were still some that had Joe's back, but I think our fan base had to take a step back and say, okay, they started realizing that it wasn't a trust thing with Nico. It was he wasn't comfortable, and coach knew he wasn't comfortable, and he's calling plays. That scheme is there. It's going to be there from now to the end of time, and I don't care who we play. Bring on Texas, bring on anybody. But Nico, the sky's the limit. He's about to open up.
Let's go. I'm going to try to rotate people through quick. Bleed Orange, it's always a good time to have you on, man, but I am going to read this super chat before you go because Sean Cross for 5 said, I'm a grown-ass man, but I would feel safe laying my head on Bleed Orange's shoulder and rubbing his beard.
Love it.
Sean Cross.
All day, any day.
Oh, my gosh. He's a nut. Bleed Orange, it's always a good time, brother. We'll catch up soon.
Heck yeah, go Vols. Y'all have a good one.
All right, let's meet a couple super chats real quick. Sammy P for 2 says that Kentucky's daddy shirt is the best shirt. Tyler Hatmaker drops a $10 super chat. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We thank you for that, Tyler. We appreciate the support. All right, let's do this. Let's go Wade and Michael. Let's add 2 guys on here. We'll talk a little ball, then we'll rotate them. We got a couple more in the back room. The link is out for Talkin VAWLS Elite and Higher. We're going to get it to as many people as we can. Michael, kick us off here. The floor is yours. Any comment, question, whatever you want to get into.
I'll always feel good after a win over Bama. Yeah. I mean, since it's happened about 3 times in my lifetime or twice in my lifetime, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Obviously, I don't want to keep going scoreless in the first half. We can't keep doing that. But like I said in that super chat the other night, just think if we don't make those mistakes in the first half and then had that, it would have been a blowout.
Yeah, you're right.
Tennessee would be sitting here undefeated. If they hadn't made the mistakes against Arkansas, if they hadn't made the mistakes against Florida, it would have been a blowout. If they hadn't made the mistakes against Bama, it would have been a blowout. Like Neyland Stadium was ridiculous, but you go down there and punch it in right out of the gate when Sampson fumbled the football. I mean, it's a powder keg.
Yeah.
They got
who
no
would
shot.
have expected Sampson to fumble with the record? He's never fumbled before.
Yeah.
No. And that's
And he
one
didn't
thing
even
you
get.
can't
And the
put
thing
on.
is, he didn't even get hit that hard. It looked like he just wasn't holding it very secure, to me at least, from what I saw. Of course, I saw the play once live, and I haven't watched that again. But and yeah, terrible interception by Nico too.
Yeah.
And why are they when Gaston and Moore came in for that one play? Why are they having him throw deep at all with his inexperience?
I
Is what
don't
I
think
want to
that
know.
was. I don't think that was the designated call play. I think that was off script. Once he got out of the pocket, once he leaves the pocket, the guy that runs the route short, he is automatically taught if you're short, if your route is short, you're supposed to run deep, and then it's opposite. If you got a deep route, you're supposed to come back to the ball. And so I think it was just an off script play. He was just trying to make a play. I it was a bad decision, but at the same time, I kind of have respect for it because I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go try to make a play.
And it worked out like a punt.
He wasn't playing.
Essentially.
He wasn't playing scared.
Well, except they had kind of a big return on it, though.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, we all obviously know we want Nico in the game. But I don't blame him for going out there and trying to make a play.
You know what surprised me on that play? They dropped everybody. They only brought a 4-man rush. And I'm like, man, I'm sitting there thinking, of course they're going to hand it off to Dylan Sampson. Like, of course that's what they're going to do. And then I'm like,
that's what I thought they were going to do too.
And then I watched the replay and they dropped it. I'm like, what in the world? Like, wow.
John Campbell got beat.
But anyway, what do you think, Wade? How you feeling on this? Whatever day of the week it is.
I'll see that. That says Mobile County. It's where I just came from work. I've been in Alabama all day. Man, is it sweet. It's just so sweet to go to work and be around a bunch of Bama fans, and they don't have nothing to say. They don't want to talk trash. I did have an old man in Walmart yesterday after church drive by on his little scooter, and he was like, he was side-eyeing me, and he was like, "Roll Tide." And I was like, "Yeah, y'all rolled right off the hill." He just drove his scooter on. What I tell y'all about guarding Ryan Williams, though, and they done exactly what I said. You have to press him and be physical, and keep him in front of you.
Yep,
that's exactly what they did. I've been watching that kid since his freshman year in high school because he's from Mobile County, and I've been watching him. But Caleb Beasley guarded him the best I ever seen in high school. So, and that's what they did with Caleb that day was press. And he guarded him really good. I mean, he's still going to get his somewhat, but they did a really, really good job with him yesterday. And
yeah, I mean, he had decent stats. Like if you just looked at his stats, you'd be like, oh, man, Ron Williams had a good day, had a good game. But when you look at how many times they targeted him, he really didn't have that good of a day. And then Kaner with that stat about the 7 yards after catch, ridiculous. That is a ridiculous number for guarding Ron Williams. Go ahead, Coach Rice.
Well, it's like I said in the game day breakdown. Wade, I'm giving you credit. You were spot on about it, about being physical with him, getting man press and not letting him get off the line, staying in phase with him. And that was an awesome breakdown you gave us last week on the fan call in. And so what you saw is there was adjustments made because early in the game he was getting open. Milroe wasn't making plays. They put McCoy on him, and McCoy got in his face, and even Gibson got in his face the few times he manned up against him. And they literally said, "Here, you can have some of the short stuff, and the only way you're going to get open is crossing routes and rubbing against guys, and trying to break him open." So, that's spot on, Wade, and I think Tim Banks did a great job game planning against him.
He don't like physicality. He really don't. Yeah. He never has. He's a good football player. He's only going to get better. But and I'm not just trying to talk up an Alabama receiver. I'm just saying he is a good football player, and he was just born with God-given athleticism. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, if you get someone who can be physical on him, I don't know why Georgia didn't even attempt it. But how great is it to see a secondary that we can say, all right, y'all get up there and be physical. Don't let them beat you over the top. And they don't let them. They just don't let them. They hadn't so far this year. Arkansas, McCoy got beat a little bit, but
I mean, that was just perfectly placed balls. It wasn't bad coverage. It was
he's got pretty good coverage.
It was just luck of the draw that day. I mean, the quarterback was just on. So, but I mean, man, what a pickup! What a pickup with McCoy, and and you got guys behind them that's just young and still learning, and like Kaner was talking about, rotating, man, keeping them fresh. This is the best defense we've had in a long, long time.
Man, me and Coach Jay were talking about that today, like how young, and I get it. There's some veteran guys on the defensive line that are going to be gone, and we're just sitting there spitting out names, and it's like David Hobbs and Moy will be back, and you got young dudes on that defensive line at the edge position, Josephs, Ross. I mean, Caleb Herring. You got so many dudes. And then you start looking at the linebacker room. Guess what, boys? They're young. You start looking at the secondary. Guess what, boys? This defense is going to be good for a while. It's almost bittersweet because Tim Banks is finally getting the respect he deserves. He's finally got the horses to go out there and run his defense, and we're seeing how good it can be just in time. I mean, he's gone. He's gone, man. He's going to be gone after this year. No ifs, ands, or buts.
I've already seen him on cut for ECU. Which I really think he's going to be a higher profile because of just how great he's done in a short amount of time with where Tennessee's defense is or was. So I think he'll look over that ECU job. I really think you'll start seeing higher profile jobs come once the season's over. I think he's going to be on that short list.
And honestly, I mean, you never really know what someone's intentions are. He may not. He's going to get offers, but he may not want to be a head coach. You never know. He may be just fine with saying, "Hey, pay me a little bit more."
He wants it. I think he wants the right offer. Like there was a lot of buzz around MTSU, and I think he knew, man. I think he knew the horses that he had, and he knew, hey, I'm gonna go out there and show what I can do. I'm gonna get bigger offers. I don't think he's gonna get like a big time offer, but it'll be interesting to see what comes up. By the way, the link is out for Talkin VAWLS Gold. So if you want to come on the show, the link is out for you guys. GBO Smokey for 2. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate that. Sean Cross for another 5. Appreciate you, brother. Says, is Coach Jay going to touch base while you were on air, Boogie? Coach Jay is either in the air or he is in the Chicago airport. One or the other. Probably in the Chicago airport. He has a layover. He will not be back to California till late tonight. So I doubt he will be in the chat. I was going to make him come down here and make a video. I thought it would have been freaking hilarious if it's a video nobody knows and Coach Jay's just sitting here. I think it would have been epic. But no, I doubt we'll see him tonight. Tyler Hatmaker for 5. Feel like I should sign a Talkin VAWLS NIL deal after wearing merch on SEC Nation. Dude, that was so awesome. Yeah. Like that was epic. And it was right on the intro, man. I'm just watching the show and I'm like, I pause it. I look at my wife and I was like, you recognize that shirt? And then anytime it's on a show or somewhere national, I immediately send it to my brother that does all the logos. Cause it's like, man, he came up with that. That's his work. And it's like, and he's like, dude, that is freaking awesome. National stage. So shout out to Tyler for wearing it. I heard a lot of people say they saw a lot of Talkin VAWLS Buck Famous shirts in Knoxville over the weekend. So I love it. That is awesome. Michael, give us something you want to talk about, offense, defense, whatever you want to get into. We'll go a couple of minutes and then we'll rotate and we'll get Bob and Ron the Don on here.
Well, I like our chances against Kentucky because our defense is really good, and I don't think Kentucky's offense is very good.
Yeah.
Their defense, I think, is okay, but, I mean, they just give up 48 points to a mediocre Florida team. So, I don't think we'll go scoreless. I agree with what good old Nate said the other night. I don't think we'll go scoreless in the first half again.
Yeah. I agree.
And I like Santos, night game, probably going to be dark mode. Yeah. Neyland's going to be crazy again. And Josh Heupel is 22-4 in Neyland. He doesn't lose there. I mean, 3 of his losses were his first year where he was trying to just put a roster together where he had a mess.
By the way, there's your Buck Famous shirt in the wild on SEC Nation. I love it, man.
Oh,
I love it. So shout out to, was it Tyler? I think Tyler.
Yeah,
Tyler.
Yeah, it was Tyler.
Shout out Tyler. We appreciate it. One last thing, we'll let you guys bounce. Michael, how do you think they finish the rest of the year out? Just looking at the schedule, what's coming up ahead. Obviously, you got a bye week And I think that sets up perfectly for Kentucky.
Yeah,
and like you said,
I do too.
night game, dark mode. It's going to be electric. We're all going to be talking about Gerald Mincy all week leading into that game. Little extra.
Yeah, he's been poking the bear a lot.
Yeah, Mississippi State at home. I mean,
that's a win.
I just like both of those matchups. And then you got to go on the road and play Georgia. That's the one we're all going to keep an eye on. And then
it's going to be tough.
Wrap things up at Vanderbilt. But here's the thing, man. Like everybody wants to talk about Vanderbilt, but if Tennessee beats Kentucky, they beat Mississippi State, they slip up and lose to Georgia, they beat UTEP, they have to beat Vanderbilt. They've got to beat Vanderbilt to make it to the college football playoff. You don't think Tennessee's going to be up for that game? There ain't no chance. They'll be ready to go. But how do you think the rest of the season plays out?
I think at worst we lose one more game to Georgia. I think we win the other games. I think so. At worst we finish 10-2, and I think we got a great chance to get in the playoff if we finish 10-2. But if we want to rest all doubt, let's go out and beat Georgia at Georgia.
Dude, let's do it. I'm in. What do you think, Wade? What do you think about the rest of the schedule?
I mean, just like he said, I mean, the only loss that I can see on there, I mean, you never know what can happen, but is Georgia. But we get this offense thing figured out in the first half.
Tell them, Wade.
Going to have a tough task on their hands, boys.
Yeah.
It ain't even that. I just don't think this team's going to roll over and die. They had their feeling themselves bad performance this year, and I think it. Even though they didn't come out against Florida and just kill them, they at the same time them kids felt that, and you can tell this team don't like to lose, and they never. I haven't seen them hit panic yet. Not even at Arkansas. Even when they were down and everything else, I haven't really seen them hit panic. They don't look like they're panicking or nothing like that. Nico's starting to figure it out. I mean, a couple years ago, y'all with Hendon Hooker, a lot of people might not realize it, but he would get antsy early in the game and sell throws. And then when he got hit that first time, he dialed it in. And it was some people's like that though. They need to run it a little bit and just get hit one time. And it ain't gotta be a hard hit, just get hit, and then they're ready to go after that. But the offensive line play, if they keep playing like they did Saturday, I know they gave up some, but they improved a lot. They looked a lot better Saturday. They gave Nico time, and they just got to keep getting healthier and playing better and better every week.
All right, boys. I always appreciate y'all coming on, hanging out. We're gonna let y'all jump off here. Wade's got one less. What's up? Wait, first of all, do you want to make fun of Angry Titan? Because he asked if you want a donut. He's trying to make fun of you like you're a cop. Do you want to just make? Do you want to make fun of him?
I'm a cop, boys. I'll say it like my partner does when patients think we're cops, because we do. This right here mocks the same uniforms the cops wear around here. We don't eat donuts. We like Waffle House. That's what my
Go ahead, Wade. You said you had one more thing you want to throw out there.
Wish I had Waffle House in my area.
This Wednesday, but the next Wednesday, are we going to meet up somewhere so you can see the tattoo live and in person this time?
Hit me. We're friends on Facebook, aren't we? Hit me up on Facebook. I'll see what's going on. Not this week, right? This coming Wednesday.
I'm coming for the Kentucky game.
You're going to be in Knoxville.
Yeah.
That might be a tall task, but hit me up on Facebook. Shoot me a message on Facebook, and I'll see what's going on.
All right. I gotta go shake Heupel's hand and tell him thank you for beating Alabama again. So and
then go, hey, have you ever heard of Talkin VAWLS? Actually, don't say that. I don't need that. I don't need that. All right, boys, we appreciate you. Always a good time having y'all on. We'll catch up on the next one.
See you guys.
Go Vols.
Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Coach Pitts for 2 says, been a lurker for a year now. Sorry, Boogie. You don't have to apologize for being a lurker. We appreciate you, man. There's a lot of, if you're a lurker in the chat, put a GBO out there. Just throw a GBO out there so we can see your name. I want to know who's lurking in the chat. But shout out Coach Pitts. We appreciate the super chat. We got a new member of the channel, Coach Rice. How bad do you want to say this name? How bad? You
you want me to say it?
Thank James for being a member, because I know you like it.
Hey, James, Trump 2024, Price became a YouTube member. I love it. You the man.
Shout out. I knew as soon as I saw that bubble, I'm about Coach Rice gonna get fired up. Shout out, James. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for the support. Let's get Bob and Ron the Don on here. By the way, they're the last 2 in the back room. So the link is out for Talkin VAWLS Gold and higher. You want to come on after Ron the Don and Bob? Jump in the back room. We'll get you added as soon as possible. Ron the Don, you the man. Look at you repping that Talkin VAWLS shirt. Bob, you got Talkin VAWLS gear on. Bob's got about every shirt we own.
I don't have any on right now. They're all dirty.
So I don't need you to yell at me about wearing an App State hat when you don't have a Talking Ball shirt on.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this.
There you go.
There you go. There, now that fixed it. That fixed everything, Bob. How you feeling, Bob? A win over Alabama? You tweeting out, taking a little gentleman Jack, smoking your cigar? I bet that.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Did you really get kicked out of the house?
Soon as the clock struck 0, old boy looked at me and says, "Get the hell out of my house."
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like, damn, dog, that's rough. He says, "I know. Just get the fuck out." That's what he said. I'm quoting.
Oh.
But
Coach Rice,
I took my time. I took my time. I offered him a hit. He took a hit. We're good.
Ron the Don.
Hey.
What? I didn't get to see what you were eating on Saturday.
I know, man.
What'd you eat on? What'd you have going down on Saturday? Did you smoke a cigar on Saturday, Ron the Don?
No, I was kind of on a liquid diet Saturday.
Oh, I got you.
Kind of liquid diet on Saturday. Yeah, that game's really special to me. What people don't understand. All right, Coach Rice.
What's
can
up,
you give
bro?
a quick definition of the struggle bus?
Yeah.
Where's
Give
the
you the
struggle bus?
definition of a struggle bus.
Mm-hmm.
0 points. 0 points, 3 weeks in a row, first half.
Yeah,
That's the definition.
Do you know for a long time between 2006 and 10 and 11, all up to 16, Tennessee couldn't even buy a ticket to get on the struggle bus.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. We have a chance. We've already beaten Florida. Yes. We beat Alabama. Yes. We also have a chance to beat Georgia this year. I've watched all the pundits on television talking about, whoa, maybe Alabama wasn't all that great. Oh, maybe there's a problem. There ain't nothing wrong with the middle road. We put it on them. We put it on that team, and we won. So let's enjoy this winning. I'm telling you. When was the last time Tennessee has beat Florida, Alabama, and Georgia in the same year? When does that happen? It's never happened as far as I know.
I don't even. Fulmer probably. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it might have been 98.
Yeah, he actually 98. He did.
Yeah. So imagine how long it's been since we had a game in a series like this. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy it. No matter how much we struggle, no matter how much we grind it out, we are still getting that win. So this don't be sour. Let's enjoy this stuff, man. Bookie said it 2 years ago. Enjoy the ride. Get a good seat. Grab some popcorn. Let's enjoy this thing, man.
And I get it because expectations do need to change, right? Right? Yeah. Like our expectations are clearly going to change, but that doesn't mean we can't remember where we've been. And like the numbers, man, Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, Butch Jones, Jeremy Pruitt, 0 wins versus Alabama. Josh Heupel's beat them twice in the last 3 years.
Yep.
Florida.
He is unbeaten in Neyland Stadium.
No, he's not. He lost one. He
lost one game.
He lost 3. He lost 3 in year 1.
Well,
he's won 17 out of his last 18.
No. Alabama has not beaten Heupel in Neyland. Florida has not beaten. Florida has not beaten Heupel in Neyland.
Nope.
You're right.
I mean, you got to respect what he's doing, man.
Yeah.
And it's again, you look at history and where we were at and where we're at now, and not only that, what Heupel took over, like Lane Kiffin took over a pretty dang good football team. I mean,
let me throw this out there real quick. I want to give my heartfelt apologies to the Talkin VAWLS Network for my language. I was just quoting the guy, and it just slipped out. I apologize.
Oh, you're good. You're good, Bob. It's all good. I'll yell at Coach Ross, but I won't.
Yeah, he'll yell at me, but
I might even yell at him after the show for that one. I'll blame Coach Ross for that one.
Oh, yell at me! I mean,
I'm a bad influence.
Yeah, y'all.
I was in the Navy, so language doesn't bother me, but I always do try to keep that in mind when I'm on live.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me either. The only I do it because I get it. Yeah, it's like when I'm watching a show and it's got like, and my little guy comes in the room. He's like, "Oh, you watching Uncle Ethan?" One of the YouTubers I watch. He's like, "Oh, you watching Uncle Ethan?" And he said bad words, Daddy. He's like, why you pause it for? I'm like, because he says bad words. So now he walks in. He's like, oh, you got to pause because he said bad word, Daddy. Yeah, he says bad words, son. Now, look, get out of the room so I can watch it. I was watching, dude, this is a funny story because we're talking about language. I was watching Pancakes and Bacon this morning. And Reed was telling a story that he went to the game with his wife, and he's like, my wife's a teacher, and we met up with my friend down at G10, and we were talking, we were hanging out, and he was like, he was being a good friend, man. He's like, he's asking my wife how her school year's going and about her teaching and this, that, and the other. And he said, then some Bama fans walked by, and he said, mid-conversation, he's talking to my wife, and he just looks over and he goes, F the Tide. He said, but he said it. He just full-blown F-bomb, F the Tide. He said, then he looked right back at my wife and was like, so, yeah, I mean, how's your class? It's like that is like epic. That is Tennessee, Alabama, third Saturday in October. Like, how much does that rivalry mean to you, Bob? Like you're older than me. I'm older than Coach Rice. And it's like we all have different. I hate Georgia, obviously, but a lot of people my age is Florida just because of the age. But
Florida.
Like, what do you think of when you think third Saturday in October?
It's one of the two teams I hate with the passion. Of course, being that I was around for all of Coach. Damn it.
Coach Battle.
I was there for 98.
Coach Battle. Former.
I think I'm coming down with that dyslexia now, or whatever it is. But
That's
anyway,
being old, Bob. That's why I asked you the question, because you're old. We get it. It's all right.
Yeah. But with Fulmer, I couldn't stand Florida. Could not stand them.
Yeah.
But then Alabama was a real close second. Real close. Especially since I lived in Alabama.
Yeah.
And I told you, I used to fly my battle flag above my house. It got shot more than once.
Yeah.
So I have no love for Alabama. Now, over the last 15 years, it's kind of shifted back towards Alabama, but it's gone back and forth throughout my history with the Vols.
What about
I mean,
you,
there was a time when Vanderbilt was up there on top.
I don't like none of them.
I've never even looked at
How
Vanderbilt
about
as a
you,
rival.
Rhonda Don? What's your
I don't like none of them.
I feel you, brother.
Got a lot of years. We had outstanding players making individual plays, so we just couldn't come together as a team. And we had the coaching that just couldn't bring us together. I'm talking about. I mean, it was so bad. I think it was 2008. I started my own football league, between Chattanooga, Knoxville, and Nashville, just to get out and play some football so I could see people actually play. Old players from MTSU, TSU. I would go to different places. I had a laundry list of people I would call to play football on weekends because Tennessee had me. What are we doing? This college is too big. It's too famous not to have the players and the coaching that it needs. It was ridiculous. It wasn't no BVS. It was anger, man. So the fact that we're winning now, yeah, I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Next.
Hey, Boogie, fix that for me.
Let me fix your
that
name
for me.
I was gonna fix it, but then I was afraid that you would be in there doing it. I could fix your name in 2 seconds. There you go, Bob. You're good to go.
Thank you, sir.
Dang, man, I got to do everything around here, Coach Rice. What's wrong with you?
Man of many jobs.
Let me catch up with you guys in the chat. Sean Cross for 5 says Rhonda Dawn is a mix of Trump and Ali. He's got me fired up. GBO Smokey for 5 says Joel Klatt, Josh Pate, JD McKill all picked Alabama to win, but this podcast picked UT. I love this channel. I'll be honest with you. I was this close to picking Alabama.
Me too.
I was so close because I do always like my picks. Maybe I put on some orange tinted sunglasses sometimes, but I have picked Tennessee to lose before on this channel. Like, spoiler alert, I will probably pick them to lose against Georgia because I'm so full of battered Vol syndrome. But I will say this: come off that bye week and they go out and we see sparks on offense against Kentucky
and Mississippi.
We see sparks against Mississippi State on offense. I'm taking the Vols. I'm taking the Vols. Give me the Vols. In the words of Ron Slay, it's all I know. Give me the Vols by 50. Wayne Starnes in the house. What is up, Wayne? It's good to see you in the chat, my friend. Let me hit this clip real quick. That's a 20 boy. We love orange spots.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Wayne says, how do you kill an elephant? With a killer bee. Go Vols. Why don't I get it? I don't get. I never know what anybody's talking about ever. I don't. Oh, he said that. He's saying that's Will Brooks. He's saying that's Will Brooks.
Oh,
well, before anybody listens,
up,
just think about this. Tennessee has the number 2 ranked defense, and they're all playing. They are playing in rotation. That defense works. The players. You see how Aaron Carter talked about Will Brooks?
Yeah.
That is some emotional stuff, and they're backing each other, and they're happy with what they're doing. That will carry you a long way. Even if the offense has the time, that's taking a little bit of time to click, that defense is pulling it, man. And I'm sorry, it's not easy to hit that it is to pitch.
Culture.
Like
that's a family room.
Listen to this, and it's got profanity in it. I'm sorry, it's a locker room. Locker rooms have profanity, but listen to the clip when they sing "We Don't Give a Damn About the Whole State of Alabama." I don't know who it is, but it's somebody saying basically the defense bailed us out. Listen,
Let's keep this shit fucking rolling. Hey, you guys had us, big brother. Good shit. I won.
You guys had us, brother. Like that's what you're talking about, Ron. That dude's playing for each other. And the offense is like, we sucked, man. Y'all had our back. Offensive coach, you go out and lay an egg, and the defense picks you up. You're like, let's go. Defense picks you up. Now let's figure it out, right? Let's figure it out.
Boogie, your mic's going in and out.
In and out. What'd I do? Did I punch something?
You may have been up too close to it or something.
Is it better now?
It's better now.
Might have been me jumping up and down, getting fired up, hearing them in the locker room get fired up. Did you catch what I said, or do I need to say it again?
Yeah, say it again.
So it's you hear a player on offense saying, "Man, y'all picked us up, y'all carried us, right? Like you had our back." And it's like as an offensive coach, if you lay an egg and the defense carries you, man, you say, "Let's go." Like it's not like, the defense is getting all the talk. You don't care. But as an offensive coach, now we got to figure it out because we may need to pick them up in the future.
Yeah, no, that's tough. And that's what they did 21, 22. You know, it was the other way around, and now we're seeing it vice versa. We saw it a little bit last year, but and that's the reason why I think this year can be so special by the time we get to the end of it. Because I said it Wednesday night, you know, one of the few good points Greg McElroy made, he did say, like, playoff teams and national championship teams, this is when you really see, can they be a national championship contender going forward? Can they build to that? Yes, they made a start the season good against lesser competition. They struggled. Do you learn from those struggles and that adversity and get better week after week after week? Coach Heupel says it. Boogie, you play it all the time. It ain't always going to be perfect. But can you still go out there and learn how to win those games that it's not perfect? Like, it's like we talked about Wednesday night too. They know how to win these ugly games sometimes. And I'm not saying Saturday was ugly. Part of it was ugly, but I think the second half, they played clean, efficient football. And so when you do that and you make the plays that are there, that's what was wrong with the first half. The plays were there, we just weren't making them. So then when you put all that together, you have that team that's coming together. The defense has been playing A1 all year. The offense is starting to click. You start seeing that redshirt freshman grow up before our eyes and start making plays. You know, that pocket awareness really showed where he stepped up into the pocket, had that long run. You know, it's just certain things where you see all 11 guys on the offensive side of the ball take that step and get better week after week after week. And then
find that next 1%.
You see them all come together.
Find that next 1%.
Yeah.
And no matter how they move the goalposts, guess what? We're going to tear those down too. It don't matter. Every team, okay, now Oklahoma and now it's Eastern Alabama's still the team that beat Georgia.
Nobody wants to talk about that, Ron. Nobody wants to talk about that. We can't talk about that.
I think they got the Talkin VAWLS network tailgate show on their tablets on the sideline because we were all saying we wanted to see them lock up their quarterback, keep him contained, keep Milroe contained. What they do? They kept him contained. Don't let them get behind them. They never let them get behind them. Our wide receivers were burning them left and right. Nico's just got to find that touch, and he's going to. He started picking up the second half last. So I see nothing but upside on our offensive line. And that our offensive line gave him all day to throw. I was counting 6, 7, 8 seconds, him sitting back in the pocket looking for somebody to throw to. And that's forever for a quarterback, especially in the SEC.
Yeah,
usually you got 3 to 4.
Daniel this last our best game.
They definitely did, and that's all we could have asked for. I mean, anybody wants to downgrade.
I'm gonna go ahead and bring Matt on because since we're late into the show and he's the only one in the back room, I did put the link out for Talkin VAWLS Faithful and higher. So anybody at that level or higher, it's rare that we get to that point. We're to that point. So if you want to come on, the link is out. Matt, how are you feeling on what day is it? Monday evening?
Oh, you know it, man. I'm feeling it, dude. I'm still riding the high. You know why though, too? I mean, best day of my entire life in sports, possibly. I mean, like, you know, bring them back in. But no, man, second half adjustments that the team made, and you know, the crowd, the whole entire day was fun to keep up with. And I mean, just the resilience of this team, the never say die attitude, don't quit, the ability to pick themselves back up even after just crazy turnovers, and the ability to go out and execute whenever you're down, just shows resilience. And I'm ecstatic the way they played, and sucks they don't play this week, but looking forward to the rest of the season.
What's going on, Nate? Did we do you right? Did we make you proud?
Oh man, that thing is beautiful.
You know what is so funny is I told Kevin no so many times. I was like, no. And he's finally like, maybe it's the font. And when he sent it, I was like, that's it. That's it. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's the one. So I'm glad we did you proud. How you feeling after a W over Alabama?
Oh man, I'm feeling so good. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol. It is great, man. I can't come off the emotional high. You know, I know so many Bama fans that they love to chirp, but sounds like crickets chirping right now. You know, there's not a lot of talk. But guess what, everybody? We're 6-1, and we're going to go in and we're going to take care of Kentucky. I got high hopes from here on out.
Me too, man. I'm trying to be careful. It's not who I am. It's not in my nature. But here I sit doing it, and it's like I'm ready to look right past Kentucky and Mississippi State because I think Tennessee rolls them. I think we continue to figure this out. Like Coach Rice, like go back to what me and Kane were talking about. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Seeing the progress, seeing the steps. You were as angry as anybody. Was it the Arkansas game? But then But then Florida. We saw some signs of life. Alabama, we're seeing more signs of life. Like, what do you think these next 2 games look like against Kentucky and Mississippi State offensively?
I think they open it up, man. I think we're just seeing it so close. It's been so close. You're starting to see execution. Nico making some throws. You know, we talked about it before the Bama game that the key word was execution. Right, and we had receivers running wild through the secondary. You know, we saw all the talking heads of YouTube and content creators this weekend talking about it could have been a 40-point, 30-point lead in the first half. Right, I mean, you know, the scheme is not broken by any means, and we started seeing Nico hit some receivers in the second half. That throw on the run where he flicks his wrist and puts it on the fingertips of, I mean, that's just incredible. You know, we know the talent's there. You got 2 weeks to prepare for Kentucky. Make the adjustments you need to in the wide receiver court. I think Squirrel's legitimately hurt. You know, give him time to rest up and put somebody else, Matthews, in the slot, or whoever you're going to do, and go out and beat Kentucky's daddy. Right? It's going to be a night game in Neyland again, dark mode, 2-year anniversary of Spooky Rocky Top. I mean, it's just going to be an incredible scene once again. And you know, You go out and you beat them. You're 7-1 going into Mississippi State and roll them too and bring on Georgia.
Coach Rice, what is going on with you?
It did that the other day. It kicks me out and then brings me right back. I don't StreamYard.
But ladies and gentlemen, just hear me out for a second. If you think that any team in the SEC is going to start a game or play a game against a conference rival, they're not going to bring 100%, you're fooling yourself.
Right.
Even the worst team's going to bring their best.
Right.
If you're the top dog, they're trying to pluck your hairs. If you're the bottom of the cat, they're trying to kick your tail. This is SEC play. You've got to play your best. Do all you can. Even if you just eke by with a win, thank yourself and go home and prepare for the next one. Because the next team ain't taking no slack on you. This is SEC play. It is rough. I mean, there's cheerleaders on the side trying to work the field. It is rough in the SEC.
I said it before. Any given Saturday, any SEC team can beat any other, and Vanderbilt beating Alabama this year is just proof of it.
Absolutely.
To my Tennessee Vols.
Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Angry Titan for 2 says, we going to tear down Georgia's goalpost? No. He says F-U-G-A. Well, Cam, if you're in Athens and you're listening to the show, I'm going to need you to roll your window down real quick. Roll that window. I'm assuming he's got a main. It's how old we are. He's manually cranking that window down. All right. Now you've had time to roll that window down. Now I need you to crank the volume as loud as possible. As loud as it will possibly go. I mean, I want you to blow the doors off of somebody. As loud as it'll go. No, there are no good Georgia fans. Eric, terrible, ugly, disgusting. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. No, there are no good Georgia fans. There are none. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. Terrible, ugly, disgusting. I love that clip. Shout out to Lil Spooky. He set that up. Unfortunately, the music's monetized, but on stream, like how many times now? Y'all show up, show out, and show love with Dorothy. So I'm like, screw it. Keep your ad revenue. I don't need it. We go roll out some fun clips and good tunes and a little Dixieland delight to kick off the show. So yeah, there are no good Georgia fans. Angry Titan. Wait a minute. Oh no, what did I do? Oh, I took away the wrong super chat. Oh, there's a $2 super chat that I missed that I wanted to. It was Sean Cross. All right, I found it. Here we go. Sean Cross for 2 says, "What is your 4?" There was 4 of us. Now there are 6. So let's just go around the room. Play of the game, Bob. What was your play of the game?
I had to say it was the interception in the end zone.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That had to be the play of the game because I kept looking at my buddy. I kept saying, I told him before the game. I said Williams is not going to be a factor in this game. I said they're going to put McCoy on there, and he's not going to go anywhere. And then when he took that interception, I put my arms, my buddy over his just shaking his head. He says, "Can I not throw it to someone else?" I'm like, "No, he's the only receiver you got that's worth a damn." So,
what about you, Ron? Play of the game. Shout out Coach Jay in the chat in Chicago for his layover. Yeah, he did. I don't think I said this on air. He ran into Nico at dinner while he was in Knoxville, and then he ran into Nico again in the Knoxville airport, flying out to go back home. So he's like, apparently Nico's following him around. Ron the Dom, what is your play of the game?
Well, my play of the game is the shoestring tackle of Miro when he left that pocket. It could have changed a whole lot. Miro was still just as fast as he was before. No matter what they say about the whole team, Miro's fast. Ryan Williams can still catch. Single players making single moves, but we stopped him. That was my favorite play. He just pop, down. Next play.
I like it. Coach Ross, I know what you're going to say, but play the game.
Yeah, Dante. The Dante Thornton catch. I mean, I think it's the play of the season. I really do. I think it's the turning point for Nico and this offense. I really do.
What about you, Nate?
Well, they said the top 3, so I'm going to go for the pocket presence escape trick, if you want to say it, the magic act of Nico. That was phenomenal, man. Phenomenal.
I like it. I like it.
Yep.
Matt?
I'm gonna go a little different, and we'll go two sequences that kind of saved it. But after both picks, defense goes 3 and out, -5 yards, -13 yards, and
Yeah.
I mean and kept us in the ball game after a bonehead mistake and then the injury and the flick. I mean, just defense continues to be just insane. I mean, they're so good.
Since y'all said everything, and I love it, man. Like that tells you how many moments there were in this game.
Yes,
that led to the victory, right? And that's why you go out and you play for 60 minutes. I'll go the touchdown, Nico to Brazel. Just what a throw! Like what throw! What a catch! That's SEC football. Just good stuff, man. Good stuff. Angry Town for 2 says for Richie, Georgia equals Kamala Harris.
He ain't lying.
Oh my gosh. King Ball 300 for 5. We're going to take Kentucky to the woodshed with 4 perfect quarters of football. Nico throws for 350, 3 touchdowns. D Samp runs for 125 and 2 touchdowns. Sign me up for that, man.
Hey, Florida exposed them. Like that
Yeah, they did.
Right.
Florida showed some things that their defense struggles against. And I think Coach Heupel is going to see that on camera and on film, and hey, we're going to use some of that. They did a lot of stuff. I've rewatched. That's just type of life I have. I've rewatched that game too, and they did some stuff that Coach Heupel and company run, and that they've run in the past against Kentucky, and I really think Kentucky's defense. I know they've been pretty good this year at times. I think we're about to keep the exposure going, and it's going to be a blowout. Because their offense is dreadful. Like it's
they can't score.
So I think this game's going to be a blowout, and it's not even going to be close.
Is anybody worried about the next 2 games?
No.
And I get it. Arkansas, we can't look past. We can do whatever we want. We're fans. Like, come on,
do whatever we want.
Come on, we can do whatever we want.
It'd be one thing if it wasn't at home, but
exactly,
they're at home. These boys are feeling it after this game. Like 2022, people thought that Kentucky game was going to be a trap game coming off that Alabama win, and we went out and just scored on the third play of the game, and just it never looked back. And I think you're going to see a repeat of that.
I mean, it's insane when you look at the numbers. And I know I've said them before, but 2021, it's almost like a wash, right? It's like when we talk about recruiting. When they were under the NCAA investigation, that's a wash. Like that's not a real accurate picture or story of what Josh Heupel and this coaching staff was capable of. But for the sake of storytelling, they were 5-3 in 2021 in Neyland Stadium, 7-0 in 22, 6-1 in 23. The only loss was to Georgia. 4-0 in 2024, 22-4, 22-4 in Neyland Stadium, and 17 out of the last 18 games have been wins. Go ahead, Matt. I cut you off, but gosh, man, those numbers.
On top of that, I mean, national media wants to see Tennessee too, so you're still getting night games, and Neyland at night is just a different animal. I mean, it is an absolute different animal. I was at the Kentucky game in 22, and that game, the atmosphere that night, even a 40-point win, you could not hear yourself think. I mean, it was just incredible. You've got something to play for. You're back in it. The national media is talking about you again. You're going to get them at night, dark mode again for Kentucky. You beat them. I'm a little more worried if I'm going to put them on a level. Mississippi State scores better than Kentucky does. So, you're going to have to. You can't go 0 points in Mississippi State game, in the first half, but. To say I'm worried about them, no. I think you're more talented, you better execution, and the team just keeps getting better and better and better every week, right? And I think that's a sign of a good football team, a sign of good coaching.
ESPN FPI, take it or leave it, whatever you guys want to say. Kentucky, Tennessee, 90% chance of winning that game. Mississippi State, 92.4% chance of winning that game. That's analytics, that's data, that's rosters, that's not emotional. Even the Alabama is still higher than Tennessee in their ESPN FPI because it's not about wins and losses. It's about talent, it's about roster, it's about data. Right. So it's not like the AP poll. Clearly, Tennessee should be ranked ahead of Alabama in the AP poll, but it's not about that. So I like the ESPN FPI. I think it's worth talking about. I think it's worth looking at. But
Well,
Tennessee should be heavy favorites the next 2 games.
Without a doubt. And, one thing I'll add to what Matt was talking about, the Mississippi State game, that's Jeff Levy. You don't think Coach Heupel knows exactly what he's going to try to scheme up? Like, he literally was his old OC. It's the same offense, that our defense goes up against every day. And so, it could go both ways, but our defense is 100 million times better than Mississippi State's defense.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one reason why I really think both of these matchups, as long as our O-line can hold up against Deion Walker at Kentucky, I don't.
He don't think much.
Man, he said something to offend himself. Coach Rice, he triggered a boot.
I don't know why it does that. How far did y'all did before it kicked me off?
Deion Walker.
You don't think? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the last thing I said. If our whole line can hold up against Deion Walker, I think both of these games are going to be blowouts. Like that. That's going to be the key to that Kentucky game. But other than that, the matchups bode well for Tennessee in both games.
Y'all know.
Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead, Nate.
There's something that I would like to see, and man, I might get just blasted in the chat for this, but we talked about the inaccuracy of Nico and the overthrows, and but you know what? When we get to this game, I still want to see them. I want to see the attempts. I want to see him get that ball out, because that's how he's fine tuning. And if it takes him a couple throws, let's lay off. Let's give him time to get it under control, because we obviously see now that he can do that. So I would like to see a couple. I'm not saying I want to see it every time. I'd love to see a dime every time in the end zone, but I want him to gain that confidence. If he doesn't have it at the start, man, I want to see him get it, because I believe once that happens, it's a chain reaction, because Nico gets confidence, the line gets confidence, the running back gets confidence, our corners, the defense, and it just goes on and on, man. It's a good thing.
Yeah, just let him air it out.
Yeah,
you can still run it down the throats. We got two great running backs back there. Put them to work. Wear the defense down for a little while, because hey, they're good. Sampson is good.
Yeah, he is, man. Heisman watch and Heisman talk for Sampson. I mean, he's going to break the record for all-time touchdowns in a single season against Kentucky. You go back and watch that game and you realize.
Now hold on. That's a lot of touchdowns. The NCAA record is 38.
No, I mean
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Okay.
I got you, Bob.
He'll get there.
Bob can't remember who Phil Fulmer is, but he knows the NCAA record for touchdowns off the top of his head. What in the world is happening? Go ahead. Matt. What the heck?
No, I was just gonna say, man, you can see it like early in the game. Obviously, the squirrel, ball that he jumps forward, doesn't catch, and even on the first drive where he doesn't stick the right arm up, it's just a left-handed attempt.
Yep.
And if that's a guy with two good arms and he gets the hands up here, you're catching and you're going for 6 on that play.
Yes, sir.
The one he dove for, that was right on the money, but because he's it hits his hands and he doesn't have any strength in the shoulder, you got to give the kid credit and for gutting it out. But other guys that run that same route that get open, you never know what's going to happen on both those balls, right? And you can just see, separated AC joints tough. I've had one; they're awful, and you keep on getting hit and getting hit and getting hit. And obviously he's hurt. I'd love to see Mike Matthews this week or next week against Kentucky, and give Dante Thornton some more run, man. Get that dude on the field. He makes plays, but 2 weeks to get healthy. I think it's another big key.
Man, somebody put it in the chat earlier about Mike Matthews. Me and Coach Jay were having this conversation. And for the people that think, I don't think anybody believes this anymore, that anybody on this show comes on and just agrees with what I say. He's like, man, we got to get Matthews on the field. And I'm like, I'm not really worried about Mike Matthews getting on the field. I'm like, man, there are plays to be made. I don't think Squirrel's going to get. I think it's time to sit down, because I agree with what you said, Matt. And it's like, it's not for the lack of heart. I mean, the play where he laid out and landed on the shoulder that's hurt, dude. I mean, you get that is a VFL. That is all heart. But yes. I'm like, we got guys out there that can make plays, and Coach Jay's like, okay, cool, man. We need Mike Matthews on the field. Everybody wants to see him. We heard so much talk about him, right? In fall camp. We've seen him make plays. Where's Mike Matthews at? Coach Rice, you can go on that.
Yeah, I'm officially. I think he's, maybe not 100%. That'd be the only thing that I can think that the reason why you ain't seen him. Because I don't think I saw him on the field at all. In the Florida game, you saw him sparingly, but I don't know if he's not being able to practice, or why. If he's not hurt, why is he not? If he is hurt, why is he not on the injury report? But we definitely got to see Mike. If he's good and ready to go, there's ways you can get him involved, even if he doesn't know the offense yet. That's not an excuse to not get a playmaker involved. Give him 3 to 4 plays every game, where no matter what, he's getting the ball. That's what a good coach does, and I fully trust Coach Heupel that he knows what he's doing. But I think at the end of the day, if he's ready to go, you got to, because he's just an absolute playmaker. And so I don't know who this is at the bottom of the screen, what they think about Mike Matthews, but
Caveman Boy, what's up? How you feeling? What do you think about Mike Matthews? Get him in the game?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and there's got to be different ways to get him the ball. Like, what else would you want to see from the offense?
Better execution.
Yeah.
Better blocking.
No, without a doubt.
I think it was Hubs. I don't know if it was post game. Mrs. Coach J came down the steps today. And she's like, my wife, I think she might have been taking a shower. Coach J was doing something like packing up the car or whatever. And Mrs. Coach J walks in and she's like, so is this really all you do all day long is just watch Tennessee stuff on YouTube? Because I've watched everything, so it's all blending together. But at some point, Hub said, get Mike Matthews out there and just give him one of those quick hitters. He's an athletic dude. He can make plays in space, and see if he goes and makes a play. Just get him the ball and let him go. See what happens.
Yeah, put Brew in front of him and let him block.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And even if he doesn't catch a pass, he can get in there and block. He gets hit. He gets he gets used to that contact inside of the game situation, because that's different than practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how much do you think that maybe when you go back to the Pittsburgh game in overtime, what did Tillman do in that corner? That was his ball. Yeah. He caught it. One of my else keep from catching it. Sometimes we need that dog. When every time Brew catches that ball, man, I feel it makes my spirit move. He's running with anger, determination, and fight. Right now, if you're going to get that out there, Ryan Williams just showed us a couple good licks. He started looking sideways. Brew gets the ball. He runs with anger and determination. I'm not saying Mike Matthews doesn't have that. Right now, we need those dogs in the game where they say, that is my ball in the air. I'm going to catch it. I don't care who's around me.
Yeah, Mr. Bradswell.
Did anybody else notice that every interception that Nico's had has either been caused by the defense deflecting it or hitting it as he's doing it, or it's because it's underthrown? But every time he's missed.
Last week was awful. It was right at the coverage. It was bad.
Well, yeah. Well, it was underthrown.
That was underthrown.
But
that was.
It was underthrown.
Yeah.
Everything he's overthrown, he's only missing by inches. I mean, inches.
Yeah.
Dude. If his guys don't get it, the opponent don't have a chance to get it. Think about that for a minute. Yeah. He's putting it to where only his receiver could get that ball. Only his receiver. Nobody else could.
Yeah.
So, and the ones he's thrown for a down, like, what was it, last week when he threw in the quadruple coverage and threaded the needle twice?
Yeah.
That was a laser. Nobody was catching that, but, there you have it.
You see,
I just want to make sure everybody sees that.
Oh, absolutely. We're coming into the situation, though, and I'm a realist. I might make some of y'all might have different opinions. That's perfectly fine. We have a 5-star quarterback with, I don't want to say it, but it is what it is. We have a 5-star quarterback with 4-star receivers. They're not terrible, excluding Brew. The other ones need a lot of work. I've seen a lot of issues that need to be ironed out. But the only way to do that, on the Mike Matthews topic, the only way to do that is to get them in the game. Get them warmed up. Get them used to the routes. Get them used to trying to catch the ball in coverage. That's the only way to get these things going. I think sometimes we get the expectation of because Nico is so great that we have to match that level that our receivers should be doing it. But a lot of these issues are because their receivers are not the best, but they're the best that we're dealing with right now.
And the problem is just bail each other out. Just bail each other out, right?
Yes.
Like Bob saying that Nico is so close is so true. And I'm not throwing a dart at Joe. When Joe missed, it was bad. It was 10, 15. I mean, it was, and Nico he's so dang close. And then it's like when he does put one there, man, go bail your dude out, go make a play. And it's not just the wide receivers. Like Nico is making a lot of mistakes too. He's making a lot of mistakes too. I agree with what you said, Nate, with Brew. And guess what? He had a drop. He dropped a touchdown. And it's so uncharacteristic of who he is and who he's been. But the reality is he dropped a touchdown. So let me hit a couple of super chats. This is a good conversation. Paul Lindsay for 10, nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate you, Paul. GBO Smokey for 2 says Ron the Don is my hero. Ron, you're my hero too, brother. We love Ron the Don around here. Let's just keep the conversation going with Ron. Jump in here. Mike Matthews, wide receivers, Nico, all of it.
But has anybody ever thought that maybe with all the long balls that Nico's been throwing, maybe he can get some Tom Bradyism? I don't know what's no big time receiver, but if he can dig and dunk for 5 to 10 yards at a time, open players, possession receivers to catch the ball, to keep the game going. I mean, I hate Tom Brady just for that very reason. We should have been talking. He still make those plays.
Yeah, but you don't have to get the tight ends. You got to get tight ends more involved to get there.
Yeah.
You got to get tight ends.
Just to address Foul Ming, Nate, you want to clarify? I think you're talking about drops versus getting open.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah, they have no problem. They're blasting past these corners and everything else. Yeah. They have no problem getting open. It's just getting warmed up, getting the talent level out there.
Well, we saw some though. We did see some really good catches on, other than not only the Brazil, or Brazil cut touchdown, or the
I don't know how to say it either, dude. Every time I say his name.
But yeah, Brazil come back on an in route or a comeback route on a diving catch for a first down on the sideline. Brew going over and catching high slants with his hands up above his head. No regard for his body and getting first downs. So we finally started seeing a little bit more execution underneath, right? And that's what Tennessee's offense has been about since Heupel's got here. Is if you're going to give us 9 yards off the ball, we're going to throw the ball inside and get a first down. As soon as you bring your corners up, we're going to run by you on a double move and be wide open. And if you don't respect it and give us a light box, we're going to run it down your throat. And we're going to do that with amazing splits, and you better have some sound technique or we're going to run all over you all day long. And it's hard to see that come back a little bit. You're seeing the 22 side of the runners, especially the receivers running by the guys. It's just executing. And it's like you said, Ron, we're so close of that game being a 40-point, offensive show almost at halftime. I mean, and it wasn't because of big drops or egregiousness. It was just missing by a little bit. And then he corrected it, went to the second half and connected on a couple of those, and you got out with a win.
And that's what I'm saying. It's mixtures of everything. It's either the wide receivers are open and Nico's just barely overthrown, or the wide receivers are open and yes, they should catch it, but Squirrel's hurt, and that it's just not a good situation there. Brazil makes a drop that he shouldn't be making, or the wide receiver. Both of those click, but the offensive line gets pushed back, and Nico's forced to overthrow just because he's not got the arm angle to be able to get it to where he wants to get it. So it's a mixture of everything, and I will disagree with you, Nate, on that. I think Dante, Brazil, Brew, Mike Matthews, and I think Squirrel has all the capabilities. I think he's just been dealing with injuries all year. It's just I think a lot of it is chemistry and timing. I know Coach McGee says it all the time. Less option routes, more timing. Well, you know, there's a thing in it with both of them. Even if you did timing routes, there's still you have to have that chemistry and knowing when the wide receiver is going to break off that route. So it's a little bit of both. And I mean, he's a redshirt freshman. They're still building chemistry. So I mean, there's a lot that goes with it,
I
and
agree.
I think they just got to keep building and keep growing as the season goes along.
Yep.
Well, I got one thing I'll throw in here. If y'all remember in 22 when we played Alabama, Hendo Cinco's passes were coming right over the top of the receiver, and Hyatt was catching his arm straight out like this and putting it right in his hands. And that's what I see Nico trying to get to is receivers. I have watched the receivers. You go back and you look. I went back and looked at the end zone cams and watched it. Some of these receivers are slowing down in the middle of the route and then trying to pick back up to catch that ball. If they just stay flat out on the route, they have to caught that ball. I don't know if they're getting tired. I don't know if they're losing confidence in Nico. I don't know what it is. But if they never slowed down, that ball had been right there for them. I have watched it time and time again. They did it 3 times last week, or during an Alabama game, where they slowed up just a half a step, and that's all they needed.
But who was it that talked about? Who was it earlier that said? I don't remember who said that Hendon overthrew dudes too. Like it happened, not a lot, but he did. He made mistakes, but guess what? Guess why you remember it, Hendon Hooker? Because he beat Alabama. Guess who's beat Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Guess who's beat the Gators?
That's
Guess who won a bowl game? Guess who's got a center for a college football playoff run? Guess who's ready to go beat Georgia? Y'all buckle up, boys. But F the Tide. We're going to go beat Georgia. We're winning the rest of them, Coach Rice. We winning out. We're winning out. We're going to get it together. We're going to get this bye week. We're going to get healthy. We're going to get right. And we're going to take that next step against Kentucky. Then we're going to take that next step against Mississippi State.
Spot on. And I agree. That's what, me and you've talked about it. I think that you're going to see a different offense. When I mean different offense, I'm not saying they're changing the offense. I'm saying you're going to see an offense that's taken off. And I really think with all the things that you've seen, the adversity that this offense and this team go through this season, I think it's just going to make this team better. Like, I really think that maybe those early season or, early to mid-season struggles.
Even the loss.
Even the loss. I mean, they felt that. And they know even between the loss and all the, things that they've missed out on in the wins, it makes them better. And, I just think that Coach Heupel knew at the beginning of the season that he had a special team. And yes, the offense hasn't came to play, up to what our expectations were. But he knew what they could get to. And I think we're going to see that come to fruition the rest of the year.
Dude, I know you all the way in West Tennessee. You standing in the front yard looking in the window, weren't you? You were looking in the window. That was mine and Coach Jay's exact conversation today. Yeah. Like everything you just said is the exact conversation that we had today about this team.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, boys. Let me hit the super chat. Ball fan 25 for 10. Sorry for missing most of the show, Boogie, but I'm proud to be a talking ball and a true Tennessee. I just unplugged my headset. A true Tennessee fan. Shout out Ball fan 25. We appreciate you. We're gonna tie a big fat bow on this show. Any final thoughts? Ron the Don. Let's let Ron the Don jump in here. Final topic. Final thoughts.
Final thought, man. The words of Ricky Bobby sitting in the car. The engine was revving up, and his friend came up. You're my best friend. I'm going to beat Georgia. That's what I'm thinking about right now. We're going to beat Georgia, y'all. We will have Bama down, Florida down, and Georgia down, all in the same freaking year. It will be phenomenal. It will be fantastic. I'm ready for it. Let's go Big Orange. Let's do this.
Let's go, Ron.
I love it, man. I think that's how we're going to wrap the show right there. Look, I appreciate you guys understanding the schedule flexibility. Coach Jay coming in. If y'all don't know how much I love the fan call-in show, like I could have easily done a show with Kane. I could have done the morning show with Kane. I'm like, nope. Like I told Eric, I said, I can't stream twice in a day. And I was like, I'm doing the fan calling show. He's like, I'm coming on. I'll be there. I'm like, well, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. But I love these fan calling shows. I love you guys bringing your opinions to the table. I love it. That's what it's all about. It's about community. It's about family. It's about, man, Coach Jay says it all the time, football is family. And I love this community. I'm grateful for you guys and what you bring to the table. I'm going to play the dang intro again on the way out the door because I think we need to light up a cigar and listen to Dixieland Delight because that's a Tennessee song. Big Trey says it's great to be a Tennessee ball. That's the perfect way to end it.
Yep.
For Bob, for Ron the Don, for Coach Rice, for good old Nate Pruitt, for Matt Begley, for the Caveman Boy, my name's Boogie Bentley. Go check out the new merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Man, watch this. I'm just gonna rip Nate off. I'm gonna do it again. For White Lightning, for Ron the Don, for VFL Coach Rice, for good old Nate Pruitt, for Matt Begley, for the Caveman Boy, my name is Boogie Bentley. God bless.
And go Vols.
There you go, Vols. I can't play because I can't find it. I found it now, though. God bless and go Vols.
We got a chance to be a really good team. There's some things we got to continue to improve upon, but there's nothing better than standing in Neyland Stadium listening to this with 102,000. Go Big Orange.
All right, congrats, Coach.
Rolling down a backwoods Tennessee byway, one arm on the wheel, holding my lover with the other, a sweet, soft southern thrill. Worked hard all week, got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night. Couldn't feel better, I'm together with my Dixieland tonight. Spend my dollar, park in a holler, neath the mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight, make a little loving, a little turning oven on a Mason-Dixon night. It's my life. Oh, so right, my Dixieland delight. Whitetail buck deer munching on clover, red-tailed hawk sitting on a limb, chubby old groundhog